AI is here. Are you ready? Most people have access to AI, but how do you position yourself around it? On February 21st, discover how to leverage AI for your career, business, and growth at the Global AI Clinic, brought to you by Houston AI Institute. Hear from top AI experts live on Zoom. Welcome to Global AI Clinic, February edition.
So the Global AI Clinic is an initiative by the Houston AI Institute. It's a virtual monthly webinar where we bring industry experts from across the world who are going to provide us with actionable AI insights and solutions to real-time problems. So for this virtual webinar, I want you to prepare your mind that this is a space where we are talking about how AI is disrupting the world and how you can position yourself in this era now. The theme for this month's edition is positioning. We can all agree that AI has disrupted how work happens. Information is more accessible than ever, and tasks that took long hours now can now be completed in minutes. So the question you are going to ask yourself now is, how can you use AI to shape your path? And in moments like this, positioning becomes essential. At this point, it is my great honor to invite the president of the Houston AI Institute to deliver her official welcome address.
Okay, thank you, Angel. Good morning, good afternoon, hello everyone, wherever you are. My name is Dr. Juliet Ibanusi, and like she mentioned, I am the president of Houston AI Institute. She already mentioned how AI is disrupting the way we work, the way we live, the way we even think. And the question then is, for you, for me, for everyone, where do you see yourself in 3 years? It's not even 5 years or 10 years. What do we do with AI? So the journey at Houston AI Institute is to ensure that people have access to information, they have access to training, they have access to tools. It does not matter where you are at the moment. If you're a beginner and you're questioning what is all this AI stuff about, this is where you can come to get solutions, where we can help you to get started, where we can train you, depending on where you are. If you're a business owner and you are wondering, if you're a business owner and you are wondering, how will this AI help me in my journey? How can it help my work processes? How can it help me with strategy? How do I start thinking about ethics at my business, and how do I support my employees? This is also a place for you to come, so we can help you. And you're a student and you're wondering, the courses that I'm taking at school, the major, where does that go now that employers are looking for different skills? How do I retool myself? Houston AI Institute is also where you can come. If you're a developer and you're stuck on your tools and you need help, we have experts who can help you with that. So wherever your journey is and wherever it's taking you, Houston AI Institute is positioned to help you with that. So this is going to be a monthly clinic. It's going to happen the third week of every month. We're going to be having various experts, industry experts in manufacturing, in healthcare, business people, power, energy, hospitality. They can come and talk about their own journey and also answer your questions. So please take advantage of this forum. Invite your friends, invite your family members, invite whoever you feel needs this to help them in their journey. Okay, so thank you so much, and I'll hand it back over to you, Angel.
Thank you, Dr. Juliet. Thank you for welcoming address. So now I'm going to give us a brief flow on how today's event is going to happen. But please, if you can hear me, just kindly drop an emoji. Now we've had the welcoming session and the opening remarks by the president of the Houston AI Institute. Now I'll be moving on to introducing of our panel. Then from there, we're going to head on to the moderated panel discussion. Then we're going to move on to the heart of the clinic, which is the live question and answer session, where you can ask questions and our speakers are going to provide you with practical insights based on the problems or based on your questions. And then we conclude. Moving on, I just want you all to relax now because we have different speakers across various industries, from Dr. Juliet to Zulkifli to Terry and Matthew. Juliet, she's the president of the Houston AI Institute. She's a strategic leader with over 15 years experience in driving global innovation and sustainability. Then her focus is connecting youth, executive, and policymakers to AI skills. Zulkifli, manager, technical delivery at Clutch. He brings over 7 years experience in software consulting across energy, healthcare, and fintech. His focus, building AI-powered solutions and enhancing professional critical thinking. Moving on, we have Terry. She's the chief AI officer and trainer and the founder of AI Made Easy. Her focus is making AI practical for productivity, communication, and decision making. And the last member on our panel is Matthew, the lead digital transformation at Covestro. He has an MBA and engineering background, leading smart factory and IoT innovation. His focus, digital transformation using AI and cloud platform. We are very honored to have such diverse and experienced group guiding today's discussion. Please, I just want you to drop an emoji clapping, celebrating these our speakers before we move into the panel discussion. I will begin by asking each panelist 4 key questions, focus on positioning, adaptation, and growth in today's environment. Our first question for today is career positioning in the age of AI. This first question is for you, Zulkifli. How should professionals position themselves in an AI integrated world?
Yeah, great question, Angel. First of all, thank you everybody for joining us, and thank you, Dr. Juliet, for hosting this. The words you shared about me are far too flattering. I just find myself as someone who likes to play with AI. So from personal experience, I've seen people use AI in multiple different ways. They've either rejected it entirely in fear that it takes their job, or they dive into it and end up using it in an incorrect way. So I can speak from my experience with my current role. What we've noticed is when you use it as a tool to remove inefficiencies and increase capacity in other ways, it becomes a much more valuable teammate. So instead of using AI as a tool, you're thinking of it, using it as a teammate, or instead of using AI as a replacement, you're using it as a tool or teammate to make your job more efficient. So from what we've noticed, people, whether you like it or not, it's here to stay. And so people can either use it the wrong way and just use it as a search engine and not use it to its full capacity, or they can kind of use it the right way, but then not do it in a safe manner. What I mean by that is in the software world, they might upload your entire repository or start, send a redacted data or, proprietary information to AI to solve your problems. And in this case, it's not really a safe way with your InfoSec team. So from a team perspective, what we worked with our team is let's enable and empower our developers to use AI. Let's already integrate it and be ahead of this curve in a safe manner where they can start using it as a tool to make their jobs more efficient. And what we've noticed is you've kind of gotten these opportunities in other areas that you may not have. People can start becoming more solution architects, etc. So in a more generic perspective, you're not thinking of how am I competing with AI? It's how can I use AI to make my job a lot easier?
Thank you so much, Zulkifli. from what I picked, the key points. So what you explained is about using AI, more like integrating it into your workflow. So rather, it's not about competing with AI, but how to integrate it to improve and they possibly amplify your human judgment. Thank you. Thank you very much. To our second question. And this second question is for you, Dr. Juliet. So how can leaders adopt AI strategically without eroding trust, accountability, or culture? Because I believe this is like a major issue now. I've read articles. Thank you, Dr. Juliet. Your answer was so practical and very insightful. And for the sake of our participants, I just want to go down through what she said, because she actually talked about a lot of things which are actually important. There are laws now that guide rail it, keep it in check, and the use of AI responsibly cannot be overemphasized. So this is actually important. So in an organization, they should actually have a catalog of every AI model that is being used. And in such organizations, these leaders should have persons who are accountable for how these AI models are used, and probably, just to ensure that there is no issue of bias. I saw something interesting about how an AI model like B2 was a bit biased when it came with hiring women. So it is also come to know that it's actually important the data that is being used to train this AI, so that it's not unfair to some particular set of persons. So we'll be moving on to the next question. And this question is for Terry. Terry, what will differentiate those who thrive with AI versus those who struggle?
Thank you, Angel. That's a great question, and thank you, Dr. Juliet, the rest of the panel, and everyone who joined today. One of the things that I say is I'm going to kind of really look at it in two areas. One, it's going to be a mindset that's going to make the difference. And when I'm on a panel, I'm often more of the voice for that non-tech professional. So a lot of what I say may go, especially if you're kind of non-tech, this is absolutely going to hit you. So from a mindset standpoint, you have got to be very comfortable with change. And quick and rapid change. And it goes against us typically in human nature. One of the things you have to remember is that technology itself typically has a significant increase every 5 years. However, AI is doubling in its capacity in what it can do every 5 to 7 months. So you really have to try as hard as possible to stay on top of it. I'm not saying you've got to know everything, and I'm going to kind of give some tips on how you can stay on top of it for what you do. But outside of mindset, in terms of being comfortable, you also have to be curious. So you need to be able to go in, to play around with it. And I'm specifically talking about like just a large language model. You have to play around with it. You have to realize you can't break it. You're not breaking ChatGPT. You can't break Copilot or Gemini, but you do have to have that curiosity of how can it help me? What can I do with it? So you need to be thinking about, can it save me time? Can it make me more efficient? Can it give me more ideas? And just have it being curious. Now, what really makes the difference is the behavior side. So kind of that first behavior, and Dr. Juliet was absolutely kind of walking down that path, is you have to adopt a responsible behavior when it comes to AI. We've had now 3 years of where people are doing all the tips, the tricks, and what I call all the candy. Now it's time to really be about business, and you have got to understand governance and ethics in your organization, when you're working in your organization, and just for yourself. If you're using one of the large language models for yourself personally, you have to understand, what can I upload? What should I not put in there? What's putting me personally at risk, aside of being with the company, that type of thing. Kind of the second thing from a behavior standpoint, you really want to look at is you've got to use it daily. That's the only way you grow in it. It's like if you say, Terry, hey, I'm training for a marathon, and I say, great. How often are you running? I'm doing a mile. I'm running a mile every 2 or 3 weeks. You are not going to be ready for a marathon anytime soon. You have to use it daily. And one of the easy ways I say, and especially for those non-tech business professionals where you're just now maybe dabbling in it, or you might be at even kind of an intermediate use, but you're not doing it every day, to start training yourself, set a calendar reminder. Either a calendar reminder or set an alarm on your phone at least once a day, whether it's noon or 4 p.m., it goes off. And if it's a calendar reminder, have it say, have I used AI today? And then think back over your day. And if you hadn't used it, think back, okay, I did this. How could I have used AI to help me? And then ask, again, back to a large language model. Ask that large language model, I was working on this. How could you have helped me? Or if you've got something coming up in, later that week or in the coming weeks, say, I'm working on this. This is coming up. How can you help me? You've got to train yourself to be on it every day, not to, again, take away your domain expertise, but to be able to augment it. And then kind of the last thing I will say in terms of behavior, it goes back to, you can't break it. Be in it every day. Just ask, because right now you have many, again, those non-tech business professionals, you have a lid on your knowledge, and you've got to be able to remove that lid. The big way you remove it is by playing and then getting with a group of people who are doing it, who are in various skill levels, who are in and out of AI, and who can help teach you, and where you are bouncing ideas off of one another. Because when we're working together, that's when you're able to grow much more quickly. So that's how I think you're going to be able to have a differentiation in the next 5 years of who's thriving and who's actually struggling. Mindset and behavior. Thank you, Angel.
Thank you so much, Terry. Your answer was so practical. So I just want to rephrase a little key point. So you have to be curious and play around these AI models. So you should also be open to change, because actually AI is advancing faster than ever. And it's also worthy to know that you should understand governance and ethics. What kind of information can you upload, and what information, especially if you are working in an organization, what you should not upload. And the last key point I just want to note is structure the practical use of AI into your daily routine. So this is not like a one-off practice. You have to do it daily. Be curious, read, attend meetings, be open to know actually how AI is changing our world. Thank you so much, Terry. So we'll be moving on to our last question in this panel discussion. And this question is for Matthew. So how can AI be used to amplify one's career?
Hi, everyone. So I'm Matthew. Thanks for having me. Thanks for joining. So let me start with saying how I use AI. So I can break it down. The first part is actually thinking, right? So you can use AI as your thinking partner. You can structure problems, and you can actually see some of the blind spots that you could have never thought about immediately, or you can stress test some options, or even it's like a sparring partner. I'm not outsourcing my thought process completely, but at least I can get ideas to actually expand upon. So one of the first things I do actually in the morning is that if I have projects or things that I have some ideas or things I want to actually do, I actually use all the models that are available there to see what difference they are actually options they actually give me, and then I synthesize and I kind of get some pointers from there. So the thinking part is one that I use heavily. Communication. The next part is actually the communication, which in the corporate world nowadays most of the people actually use. Like emails. I can tell. Nowadays I see emails with footers. This email is generated. I think I saw a funny one which actually said that if my email sounds too formal, probably it is AI, but the decision is mine, right? So lot of the people use, lengthy emails, all on, ChatGPT or internal systems to actually write emails. So communication. So you want to summarize a meeting, or you want to send a document summarized, all those kind of communication stuff that you can actually reduce your time that you actually would otherwise sit down and do that kind of stuff, right? So what was that? Thinking, communication, execution, right? Execution depends on your area, what type of work you actually do. For me, I'm dealing with software and things like that, so you already know these LLMs are very good at generating code, right? So for me, the execution is actually that it actually uses a lot of those kind of stuff. But any kind of work, you can actually think about how you can actually use AI to execute your task, not just the communication and thinking part, but task that is actually relevant for your job. And last but not the least, learning always, because this all part of this is actually tied together on the learning part of it. So you should, Terry mentioned about the curiosity part. You need to have that leads to the learning, and that the barrier for learning has been reduced so much with AI, in the sense that if there is a complicated concept, you can actually ask AI to actually explain it, simplify it for you. So it doesn't mean that you have to actually learn a subject deeply, but it actually gets you to a level that you need to understand just for your job, which is basically, then you can actually broaden your area of knowledge. The depth-wise, when you go, you probably go beyond AI and things like that, so it can actually bring value. But that helps you actually connect the dots across areas, right? So very easily. So thinking, communication, execution, and learning, that's where it is. In the AI world, the value is not in the task you actually do. It's basically, really, if you think about it, the task is, you're doing the task for, an outcome that you're accountable for. So focus on the outcome that you're accountable for, and work backwards and see how AI can help you. Instead of saying that, okay, I can do this, I can do that, I can do this, doesn't matter. You are responsible for some outcome, and think backwards and see how that outcome can be helped with AI. In our field, in manufacturing, the simple examples of a lot of the operators, their job is to actually monitor the systems in the manufacturing, plant area, and then fix if there is a problem. So their value is in actually fixing those problems in the field, not time monitoring. That's just a path to actually fix the system. So you can think of actually looking at that and saying that, okay, you don't need to monitor, right? You can have AI do that monotonous work, and then you can actually bring more value in actually fixing the solution. So it's like you're having an assistant. You hired 2-3 assistants. So I don't know where I got muted, but anyway, so this is actually applicable for other areas as well, right? Healthcare and all, you can actually do more of the diagnosis nitty-gritty using AI, but then the doctor can actually input much more valuable judgment on top of it. So that's the differentiator, right? So it's basically your judgment should bring the differentiator. You use AI to offload some of the tasks, low-value work, which is not directly tied to the outcome that you're actually looking for. Okay? Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Matthew. Thank you so much for the answers you just gave us. So let me just reiterate what you said. So use AI as your thinking partner. I believe this is very important because AI does not replace your thinking capabilities. You can actually use this AI model to improve on your thinking. And this boils down also to show that as human beings, there are aspects of us that AI can't replace: your creativity, your judgment, and how you bring value. So these are aspects of the human that can't necessarily be replaced. So use AI as your thinking partner, communicate with AI, then also execute and learn. Also, broaden your area of knowledge. Focus on the outcome because you are still actually responsible for the outcome. get. Thank you so much. I just want us to drop an emoji thanking the members of our panel for these practical answers they gave us. I actually learned a lot. I believe you did. Now we'll be moving on to the core of the clinic, which is the live question and answer session. So you can kindly submit your questions in the chat. I'm already seeing questions in the chat box. And if you also want to use the speaker, kindly feel free to indicate. We are doing that. I just want to bring up questions I'm already seeing in the chat. And this is from Phillips John. So this question is actually directed to you, Dr. Juliet. I hear a lot of news about AI becoming self-aware and surpassing human capabilities in cognition, etc. Do you think the state of AI in 10 years will pose existential threats to humanity? Dr. Juliet.
Okay, thank you, Phillips John, for that question. That's a real good question. So, a couple of months ago, my daughter, who is really young, but really, really smart, came to me and told me that she wanted to graduate because she wanted to go into the workforce. And I told her, no, you can't. Because you're too young and nobody's going to hire you, even if you have enough credits to graduate. So we need to figure out what to do with you. So lo and behold, I found out that she's been watching some YouTube movies, made with AI, of course, and also talking about Armageddon coming as a result of AI. So there are three different things. One thing is what is true for yesterday, what is true for today, and what might be true for today. So what might be true for tomorrow, we don't know, but I can tell you that most of the things that you see, especially on YouTube, those are beyond what we think will happen. Most of it is based on human imagination because we don't know the unknown. And because we don't know the unknown, we make up our own stuff. So yes, AI is really going very fast, even way beyond way beyond what our systems can manage at the moment. But think about it. Remember the internet time when the internet came along and we all thought we all are just going to disappear because the internet came and all of that. The world and systems around it, they always have a way of just leveling up. So what I can tell you is that some of them, based on what I know with deep learning, is that they are science fiction. So there's going to be advancements and the models are going to get smarter because they are going to be retraining. But that is also why the Houston AI Institute is there. And that is why a lot of other people are now saying, okay, hey, people, we need to take a pause. We need to think. We need to think about where we are going with everything that is happening. We need to put guardrails. So the National Institute of Standards and Technology, they have a governance documents, guidance for AI use and technology in general for the US. The EU, they have the EU AI Act. And then there are also so many other governance documents all over. So the race has been, okay, who is going to produce the fastest and the smartest, I would think. But in the boardrooms now, they are thinking about the question that you're just asking. What happens if, because that's a very big if, these systems are able to train and be in such a way that they actually already, they are thinking faster than we do. They've always thought faster than we do. But AI does not have empathy. AI does not have the human abilities that we have. So from the studies that I have seen, I can say, that is my opinion, I don't know, because I really don't have any scientific backing for that. But from people who are smarter than me that I have spoken to, they do not think that that is going to happen. And you have to remember also that the systems are built in such a way that it will always have capitalism built into it. So the money is what is being chased. And if that is no longer there, then everything is going to go up to dust. So what actually are we going to gain if there's no world for capitalism to thrive in? So that is one school of thought. And the other school of thought is that people really do care about our world, and people really do care about being here, and people really do care that they don't want AI to take over the world. And that is where you and I and everyone else must make sure that we are doing what we can to protect ourselves, to protect our families, and to make sure that our voices are being heard. So the good thing is every morning I get this, I'll call it my morning digest, just news around the world about, the good things that people are doing. Fefe Lee, who is like the queen of AI, who I would say is just advancing AI in the most rapid way. She is thinking ethics now. And people like that, when they cough, the world shakes. So people are taking cognizance of the fact that, yeah, there could be real dangers there. But at the end of the day, it is still a human problem. It is not an AI problem. It is a human problem. It is a people problem that we, the people, have to solve. So remember when I said that it is not okay for you or me or anyone to come and say AI did it. I still stand by that. It is irresponsible. So we need to sit back and we need to just think about the world that we're going to leave behind for our children and their children and all of that. So I'm going to leave it there for right now.
Thank you, Dr. Juliet, we're actually running out of time, and I would like all the questions to be addressed. So the next question is from Adeze. So it's just a general question. I will just direct it to Zulkifli. The question goes, how should college students prepare for the rapid shift in the job market with the rise of AI? Please, I would love for our speakers to just make their answers a bit concise due to time.
Sure. This is a great question, and I'll kind of echo what all of the panel speakers have been mentioning. Think of using it as a thought partner. So, for example, when I'm hiring new folks to join my team, I'm not really looking for domain expertise in this case. I'm looking for how can you learn, how can you adapt, and how quickly can you get that tool running to get impact. So same concept for you, depending on which job market you're entering, it might vary. If it's a software, sector, then you can play around with it. You have an idea of how you want to build like a console app or whatever it might be, and use AI as your thought partner going forward. Likewise, Matthew mentioned similar aspects with like healthcare and construction, et cetera. What are some kind of tasks that you can get ahead of? Think of like what's in your day-to-day, what's urgent and important and what's not. What can you delegate out to AI and start using it to make yourself more efficient and more valuable as a teammate? So not sure if that answered your question, but also happy to kind of send my email and chat through this more.
Thank you so much. Please, I'm going to direct this next question to Terry. Are there some recommended resources or services for learning how to train AI for your personnel? Then what AI solutions are ranked highest in ethical behavior and governance?
So great question. And in terms of training your AI for the persona you want it to have, one of the things I tell people all the time, again, and this goes for everyone, but especially those non-tech professionals, is you want to build a master prompt for the AI platform that you're working with. And so people are like, okay, well, what's a master prompt? A master prompt is where you're giving all of the information that model needs to have about you, about your business, about whatever, to be able to give you the best possible output. And the easiest way to do it, there's not some huge, secret formula. Whatever, let's say if you're using, again, ChatGPT or Gemini, you simply tell it, I need you to help me build a master prompt for what I do in business. Ask me questions one at a time to get all of the information that you need. And then it's gonna go back and forth and ask you those questions. I tell people set aside about 45 minutes to do it because it's not a simple 10-minute process. But it's now getting the information it needs. From there, what you do just really quickly, you will kind of. Once it gets to the end, it'll tell you, hey, I've got all of the information. You tell it, put it in a format that I can copy and paste and put on, a Word doc or a Google doc, because you want to get it outside of that LLM, because you want to be able to go back over time. You're going to be editing kind of what that information is. And then the way you use it, of course, whether you use it in custom instructions, whether you use it in uploading in a conversation, those types of things in terms of that you're having with that AI platform, that LLM. Now again, you're starting to train it, but it's really good to be able to use in custom instructions. In terms of, are there more platforms out there, or which may be more ethical? And that's one I will actually toss over to. I would love to get the input from Matthew on. Me personally, I think the ethics comes number one from you in how you're operating it and how you are using it. But I'm curious to find, Matthew, have you seen any information or data to substantiate one model tends to work with more ethics than the others?
The general industry feeling is that Anthropic Claude is actually a little bit more safeguarded, because there is an AI safety guidelines, safety levels or something like that. There's an organization like 3 or 4 levels of safety. So they're the one a little bit, following that. It's a very broad safety guideline. It doesn't actually, means anything, but at least they try to follow it as much as possible, right? So that's what that is.
Thank you so much, Terry and Matthew. For the sake of time, there are 2 more questions. So I want to take on from Ben. So this question is for Matthew, actually. So the question is, what are some of the cost implications of using AI, knowing that AI to cost money? Please, can you keep your answer to be a bit brief? Thank you.
There's the personal side of the use and then the corporate side of the use as well, right? So right now, I think most of it is actually discounted, in my opinion, because it's funded by all this investors and things like that. So it's actually, everybody is actually using it. This is typical business, whether AI or anything else, is that they get you hooked on, and then basically now they can actually charge or not charge, whatever it is. But again, nothing works, moves forward without the business value in there, whether it's AI or not. So it's for their imperative to actually make sure that they bring value, whichever company that provides the AI, that value to the customer. Because, as a customer, I don't pay if I don't see the value, right? So ultimately, that should even out the cost part of it, because they are scaling. Economies of scale will apply, but it takes a little bit of time to actually get there. The cost part of it in the corporate world, people are already started talking about usage of tokens and things like that. So that's actually coming. But also you have to see that these companies are actually developing infrastructures and things like that to scale it so that they can actually bring down the cost. And these LLMs will become at one point commodity. Right now, there's like 2 or 3 big ones, but there are technologies that start to proliferate in terms of actually smaller LLMs and things like that. So that will also reduce the cost in the future.
Thank you so much, Matthew. This is the last question. I'll address it to Zulkifli. Please just give us something concise. Okay, following up. This question is from Diego. Following up on Adese's question, do you think that the excessive use by newer professionals could end up hindering their learning in more practical areas. I ask this because I am an engineer and I know how important it is to get hands-on experience to learn.
Yeah, great question. I was actually typing in the comments for Diego, so I'm happy we got to answer this instead of making me type paragraphs. Great question, Diego. I think yes and no. Yes, because if you're over relying on it and using it to just do your thinking, you're not really getting much benefit from AI, and you're outsourcing your kind of habit building processes early on. So the example I like to use is, from my take, in my opinion, at least software, most of your learning comes from like debugging, troubleshooting, thinking of all these edge cases, especially early on in your career. And if you outsource all of that to AI, you're not really developing those skills early on. And as you progress further on in your career, you're not able to, one, be that impactful with these higher level concepts, and then two, be that multiplier where you're training kind of junior teammates in that same concept. So in this instance, yes, I think it can be kind of overused and excessive and hinder your learning. Contrarily, it can also advance your learning. So as you start building these basic habits, basic skills, and you start outsourcing AI for kind of more simpler tasks and assisting with your troubleshooting and pressure testing your code, etc., then it's a different level that you're using it for, and kind of taking you to that more impactful role and next level role.
Thank you so much, Zulkifli. Thank you so much. So we just have less than 3 minutes. So I want to use this opportunity to thank you all for joining. This online webinar would not have been possible without you all joining. I really want to thank everyone for making out the time to join the Houston AI Institute first Global AI Clinic. And I also want us to know that this Global AI Clinic is a monthly virtual webinar. So we are going to be having more of these sections as time goes on. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you so much, Dr. Juliet, Matthew, Terry, Zulkifli. Your answers were so practical and insightful. Thank you so much. So this will be the end of the Global AI Clinic first webinar. Thank you all for joining.
Thank you. Thank you for your time.
All right.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.